Give thanks for the blessings, give thanks for the lessons. It's the first harvest. Well, I could begin by telling you the history of the advent of agriculture around our planet and how ancient peoples who relied so heavily on nature for their very survival, in turn, developed spiritual practices to celebrate and give thanks for the earth's bounty. I could explain what some cultures called their first harvest festivals and how those names came to be. Names like the Celtic Lunasa, which early Christians then turned into Lammas, or India's Pongal, Ghana and Nigeria's Yam Festival, South America's Fiesta de la Vendimia, the Native American Green Corn Festival, and many other names for harvest celebrations around the world. But I know you really don't want a history lesson, so ask me later if you want details. Personally, being of Irish descent, I'm partial to calling the first harvest by its Celtic name, Lunasa, and so for simplicity's sake, that's what I will use today. Suffice it to say that ancient peoples all over the planet celebrated and gave thanks for the blessings and the abundance of the earth at harvest. So what can we take away from these ancient traditions now in our modern existence? What lessons can we glean? How can this ancient celebration enhance our lives today? Well, even though we in this congregation, for the most part, generally don't suffer from food scarcity, which so very many in this world do, I still believe the wisdom of Lunasa and the first harvest remains relevant. Yes, Lunasa is a time to recognize and appreciate the countless agricultural workers who labor so hard to raise and care for and harvest our food. But it also can serve as a reminder for us to pause and reflect on the accomplishments and personal growth we've experienced thus far in the year, and indeed on our paths. In this modern age, where the pace of life can be hectic and overwhelming, pausing to reflect helps us to reconnect with the cycles of nature and our own inner rhythms. It is a time to slow down, find balance, and recharge our spirits. Through personal reflection, the spirit of Lunasa invites us to evaluate the goals that we set at the beginning of the year and assess our progress. It's an ideal time to review our intentions, our projects, our committees, our aspirations, allowing us to course correct if needed. So, reflecting on the seeds we have planted, both literally and metaphorically, we can assess what has come to fruition and what requires further attention. So, continuing on from what we began to explore during the guided meditation today, let us ask ourselves, what have I been growing inside myself that's ready to be harvested? What has been ripening within me all year, or even longer? Maybe you've been nurturing your personal growth through working to develop clearer boundaries with others. Or maybe you've been working to be more confident in your interactions. Or as we explored several weeks ago with Bonnie and Joe, perhaps you're working to learn to listen to and trust your intuition. So ask yourself, what inner qualities have you been growing this year? Creativity? Patience? Courage? Empathy? Resilience, maybe? Self-compassion? Gratitude? Authenticity? What feels ready to be celebrated? What can you harvest from your efforts? And what old patterns are you ready to release? What weeds need pulling so your spirit can thrive? We've been planting seeds all year long through our choices, our actions, our energy. Now's the time to look at what's flourishing, to celebrate what is thriving, and compost what isn't. Just like gardeners clear away the weeds to make space for healthy plants, you can release what no longer serves your growth. And we need to remember that abundance isn't about having everything perfectly figured out. It's about recognizing the wealth that is already in our lives, even in the midst of trying times. It's about noticing what's working, savoring it, and making space for more goodness to flow in. Lunasa isn't about perfection. It's about acknowledging the harvest of who each one of us is becoming. So let's celebrate our wins, honor our efforts, even if we're not done yet. And let's make peace with what didn't grow as planned, because there's always another season. Lunasa reminds us that every end, like the harvest, brings a new beginning. Let's take the time to pause to see how much we have grown. The harvest is here, not just in the fields, but in our own hearts. Celebrate it, live it, and make room for what comes next. Thank you.